Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope all is well. Mr. Lawrence Falk, Mr. John Sayer, and Mr. Shrikat Kumar. Hope all is well. Hope your morning has been a very pleasant morning. My name is Muiz Adnan, and this is my team. We have Wani, Zura, and Chan, and we are from Lenovo. I am particularly the head of the MIDH business group of Lenovo. First, before we start the presentation, I want to state the changing market that is currently happening at this point in time with regard to technology. At one point in time, the market was all about, with regard to technology, it was all about the PC. And that was what Lenovo is the market leader of. We are the market leaders of the PC segment. But now, due to the very dynamic and changing environment of the market, slowly moved from PCs, personal computers, to smart digital connected, smart technology, such as the smartphone, the smart connected TVs, the smart TVs, the smart PCs, the smart monitors. And this is what we are venturing into. We are, as stated before, the market leader in the PC. Yet, we do not have a foothold in the smart technology, which is why we have created the MIDH business group. And that is how we are adapting to the changing environment. With our first slide, the way that we will be, this will be an overview of our presentation for today. We will start by first addressing issues, and that is, in order to, the first issue are the barriers that we as Lenovo and even as Chinese companies in general have to face when trying to become a global brand. What are those barriers? First, we will identify the barriers, and then we will suggest ways of overcoming those barriers. Secondly, Lenovo has adopted a strategy which has worked well for a long time, and that is the protect and attack strategy. Our question now is, as stated before, it is a dynamic environment. The market is always changing from PCs to smart devices. Should we change our strategy, or should we maintain it? That is the second issue. By doing that, to address the second issue, we will basically start off by, at first, defining what is our strategy, breaking it down, deconstructing it to simplify it to its very core. And only then should we either change, or should we change the strategy, or should we maintain it? And finally, we will look at the financial aspect. Is it feasible? Lenovo have followed a strategy for a long time. Now this strategy, to some, a little background information on our strategy, it is the protect and attack strategy. Specifically with regards to the attack strategy, we will look at whether we should continue with this particular strategy, or whether we should change it, and whether, if we were to change it, would it be feasible? Now, ladies and gentlemen, Lenovo, a little brief background, Lenovo has acquired IBM. Similar to other companies that have acquired, in order to enter the emerging markets, Lenovo has acquired IBM. Similar to companies, as an example, for example, Sony. Sony was known as a company that was known for its consumer goods. But they were not able to venture into, for example, the smartphone industry until they acquired Ericsson. With Sony, and only then were they able to enter the smart technology market. That's very similar to what we are about to suggest, ladies and gentlemen. So, without further ado, I shall pass it over to Zura, who will address our very first issue, overcoming barriers. Thank you very much.
I'm Zura. I'm going to identify the barriers and propose a solution to it. Okay. With regards to the awards and achievement Lenovo has been received, they have received 25 awards and 44 awards for their recognition for innovation. Despite all that, they're still struggling with the perception of low quality Chinese products. So how do they deal with that? Despite all the big international competitors they're struggling with out there, such as Samsung and Apple. So that's their barriers. And the solutions to that is that we propose aggressive marketing, such as just like what Samsung has been doing. Their marketing strategy is to pull the market leader of a market to go down. For example, Apple, like what they did with Apple, they open up a booth next to Apple, and then they sell their phones for $2 Australian dollars for the first 10 customers that are lining up for to buy iPhone 4S for Apple. So that's one aggressive marketing that we can look at. And then because Lenovo has a weak branding, although it is successful in PC market, it has weak branding in terms of smart connected devices, product lines and smartphones, because they are known for their PCs only. And further strategies on that will be explained by my colleague Wani, who will explain further on the existing strategy, which is the protect and attack.
So, as mentioned, Lenovo, we have adopted a strategy called protect and attack. So when we talk about protect, we're actually trying to protect our company within China. And when referring to attack, we're trying to attack in a sense that where we could spot opportunities by acquiring other companies. So we have done really well in the PC industry. And we could say that this would still work well in the new competitive landscape. When we're talking about the new competitive landscape, we're talking about trying to venture into the smart related device sector. And now what we are trying to propose here is we should actually try to consider a merge or a partnership with the existing smartphone companies like Nokia, Samsung, Apple. It might not be possible to have a merge with the leading market leader, which is the Samsung and Apple, but to have a merge with Samsung would mean that we would win in the market. But let's just consider partnering with other companies like Ericsson. Now I will pass the next presentation to my partner.
Good morning, and dear judges. Okay, my name is Chan, as introduced by my colleague Muiz. After considering the attack strategy, which is the acquiring the companies that are situated in the overseas market, so constant acquiring of other companies, is it feasible? In our case, yes, it is. Sorry. It can be seen from our past balance sheet. The revenue in 2008, it can be seen from our past income statement and balance sheet. The revenue in 2008 was $16 billion US dollars, and in 2012 it's $29 billion. May I remind you that in 2009, in 2009, there was a loss of $226 million because Lenovo spent $200 million to buy back the MIDH business unit, which they have sold for in the previous years, which they have sold for around $100 million, which it means they are buying back what they sold at a loss. So, however, in 2009, why did they buy back this MIDH business unit? It's because there was a change in CEO. The new CEO is the person who came up with this protect and attack strategies. Because of this attack part of the strategy, that is why the Lenovo decided to buy back MIDH unit they sold previously. So because of that transaction, now for that year, within from 2008 until 2004, only in 2009 that Lenovo suffered a loss. Okay. Continuing on, in 2011, there was a profit. Considering there was a joint venture with NEC in Japan, and also Lenovo acquired Germany's company called Medium. Doing this acquisition and the joint venture, the amount of money, there will be money spent. However, Lenovo still managed to make a profit of $273 million. And to further strengthen our belief that this would not jeopardize Lenovo, in 2012, Lenovo further acquired Brazil CCE for $30 million US. This is in preparation for the World Cup in 2014. World Cup in 2014, and I believe it's the Olympics in 2016. This is in preparation for the big events, for the big worldwide events, which is why they decide to acquire Brazil CCE. And not forgetting, Brazil is considered one of the emerging markets in current economy. So in 2012 as well, they further acquired their first software company. This is to help expand their cloud space for further, which will help out in the MIDH, the four screens, namely smartphones, smart TVs, smart laptops, and also smart tablets. So in 2012, they made two huge acquisitions. However, in 2012 as well, they managed to make a profit of $273 million, which is stated up there. It's a 29 billion revenue, but also a profit of $273 million. So from these past transactions, it proves that the acquisition made by Lenovo is never contributes to their loss. So what we can see here in this past acquisition, it actually contributes to profits. Making profits mean they have the power to make new acquisition. So in other words, we hereby believe that this acquisition do not jeopardize Lenovo at all. And to conclude our presentation, I will pass it back to our project leader, Muiz.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in conclusion, in order to address the first three issues, overcoming the barriers, we have identified that the barriers were the overseas perception to Chinese products. And how we overcame that, my colleague Azura has stated, that the perception to overseas markets can only be overcome through worldwide recognition, which we have done with our MIDH. We have been awarded 25 out of 44 awards in the Consumer Electronics Show, which is a major electronics show. So that is one way. We may not have been able to overcome that perception, but we can see that we are slowly getting there. Our second barrier is the big international competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, this is inevitable in an ever-changing market where we have large players, especially in the smart devices such as Samsung and Apple. But we've already seen that our attack strategy, which is what my colleague Wani has stated, attack strategy is essentially mergers and acquisitions. That is our attack strategy of international markets. So one way of overcoming these big international players may not necessarily to take Apple or Samsung, but rather do the Sony route, which was to take companies such as Ericsson or Nokia, which are leading players, but they may not be the market leaders. But that alone, through association, like Sony, has given Sony clout in the smartphone market. Lenovo could do the same if they were to tap into that smart connected digital technology, for example, by association alone. And a very simple answer to the last question. Oh, sorry, to answer that question, should we change the strategy or should we maintain it? We should definitely keep it. It has proven to be successful. Why fix something that isn't broken, ladies and gentlemen? And finally, is it feasible? As my colleague Chan has stated, yes it is. And with that, we conclude our presentation for today. Once again, my name is Muaz Adnan. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And
thank you very much for a very insightful presentation. I have one question for you in terms of understanding one single largest factor that was driving Lenovo to review and implement the strategy. What was that one single factor? Because I've heard about your marketing strategy, the branding, acquisitions, but what was the single factor that was driving them to review and do all that?
the fact that they had spent millions upon millions upon millions of dollars on promoting and marketing the product, yet their standing as a global brand wasn't reflective of the amount that they were spending. So therefore, that is what caused them to have to review, to have to look back and review our strategies.
I would like to add on. Lenovo, in a way that when someone says Lenovo, they think of computers, personal computers. Now, as my colleague Muiz has already mentioned, the current world is currently moving from PC to smartphones, smart devices, tablets, tablets and smartphones. Now, Lenovo, traditionally a personal computer giant, it's a giant company doing well, but now they have to concentrate. They have to move on to adapt to the current market. They have to move to the smart devices segment, which is why the whole strategy of attacking the smart devices company comes into play.
You mentioned about the histories of how they grow big last couple of years. What do you think Lenovo wants to do in the next 5 years' time? Will they grow big, getting bigger and bigger, or get the bottom line, profitable business first? What do you think? What do you think is the best strategy for them? Getting bigger and bigger, or getting the bottom line is the first priority?
Is that just okay. With regard to answer your question, basically we either aim for bottom line profit, in other words, protect, just to retain what we have currently, or to grow larger. That was your question, correct? To grow larger, in other words, to attack. We have already stated that they should maintain the current strategy of protect and attack. But if we had to choose between either one or the other, we can already see that they have very, very strong presence in China, being the number 2 as compared to Samsung, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Samsung.
Being number 2 as compared to Samsung. So with regards to protect, in other words, their bottom line profit, they are doing very well. Even with their attack, by growing larger, by mergers and acquisitions, in other words, that's one way of growing larger, by their attack strategy of mergers and acquisitions, we have been able to prove that they have still been able to maintain a profit. Actually still make profit and also increase their revenue by a significant amount, I might add as well. So, to answer your question, should they grow larger or should they protect? They should attack and grow larger. That is what they should do.
The major strategy you outlined would be to acquire or form an alliance with other leading companies or the second line companies. And I think you did this particularly with regard to the smartphones, because you mentioned Nokia and Ericsson. And possibly it could be tablets as well. Now, Lenovo already produce smartphones and they
do
produce tablets. So you talked about the example of successful alliance between Sony and Ericsson. There have been some less successful alliances or even takeovers. What do you see as the major benefits of forming that alliance rather than just boosting their own capacity and manufacturing in smartphones and tablets in an in-house way? What are the key advantages with acquiring or merging with another international player?
Okay, it's as mentioned, Lenovo, the brand itself, it's not strong. When it's not as global as it may be strong in China, being second to Samsung, but in terms of global in terms globally, it is not as perceived as a strong brand. Being outside China, when some the China products are being perceived by outsiders as lower quality. So if they work together with established companies such as Nokia or Sony, they can the other companies can help to increase the perceived image of Lenovo in countries that this Nokia or Sony is actually having better competitions.
And also, to further elaborate on that, with regards to what are the other major benefits you mentioned of in-house, for example, we already know that Lenovo has been recognized and awarded for innovative design, innovative product function, and they were recognized for other achievements as well. But on top, so that really shows that Lenovo has the in-house capability to build designs. Their main weakness is their brand from a global perspective. So the major benefit of that is to partner with a company in the smart connected devices industry. And by doing that, as a perfect example, the reason why we chose Sony and Ericsson and a possible Lenovo and off the top of my head, say for example Nokia, the reason we chose that is because Sony and Lenovo, they both had they weren't, in order to go into the new market, in order to go into that market, in order to tap into the smart connected devices market, they had to partner with a company that was already well established, which is what we are trying to do by partnering with Nokia, because Nokia is one of the third market leader, as third only to Apple and Samsung. So therefore, that would actually help boost their image, because we know that they do have we have the resources to already build innovative, functional products. So by having that partnership with a established player in the industry that we want to tap into, that would already boost us simply by association. Because if we were to look right now, Sony, prior to Sony Ericsson, they were not known in the smartphone arena. They were little fish in a big pond. But now, Sony and Ericsson are no longer. Sony is making smartphones on their own, and they are considered a reputable brand in the smartphone industry. That's just in the smartphone industry. Sony also makes tablets now, without the help of Ericsson. But they are only at the position where they are. We believe they are at the position of where they are right now, because of that association with Ericsson previously. And we believe Lenovo could benefit from a similar arrangement.
Okay, one more question. Currently Lenovo, all their products they design for smartphones or tablets are seen to be second-tier products in terms of the design or maybe functions. Just like Apple or Samsung, the design is a piece of art.
It is.
It is, right. How can you change your strategies from second-tier products to the kind of Apple or Samsung, that kind of piece of work, art design?
If you could just give us one. Mr. Lawrence Watt. So your question, if I was to repeat the question, essentially what you're asking us is, how could Lenovo rebrand itself in order to compete with Apple and Samsung? Would that be correct? Okay. Lenovo is known as a function. It's primarily known for its function. It is not known. It is a second-tier product because it is not known for its aesthetic appeal. Would that be correct? Would I be correct if that is what you are saying, basically? That Apple and Samsung are considered top-tier products because they're considered works of art. Therefore, by being works of art, they are primarily known for being aesthetically appealing. What Lenovo can do now, because Apple and Samsung are also functional as well, but Lenovo is just known for its function. It is not known for being something that's beautiful to just leave as a display piece, for example, which is what some people do with Apple and Samsung products. So what Lenovo can do now is to rebrand. They have been recognized already for their design and for their function. But one way to overcome that perception of being a second-tier product is to strengthen their marketing overseas. And what Samsung had did, for example, what Samsung did previously, in order to overtake the European market, they took over Ericsson. In order to take over their home market, that's home market is Motorola. Home market, in the home market, what they did was they looked at Motorola, the market leaders, and they attacked them head on. With the European market, they looked at Ericsson, and then they attacked them head on. And they had plans to attack Nokia by 2014, but as we can already see, that Samsung beat them a while ago. And with Samsung, they wanted to attack the market leader, which was known for a piece of art, which is Apple. How did they do that? Very aggressive, direct attack towards Apple. That is what Lenovo can do. They can learn from Samsung, a success story. They can learn from Samsung. So what Lenovo can do is directly attack the market leader, which is currently Apple, by redesigning, rebranding, because they are already known for function. So now they just have to rebrand their product, changing possibly Lenovo products, the design, the color. Primarily Lenovo products, IBM correct, it's black. Yes. Primarily Lenovo products are just black and very functional, very corporate looking. What they can do is to just follow the Apple or the Samsung route, which is simplistic. It's very simple, very simple. So they can just make it into less functional looking, are still maintaining the function, but yet making it more simple on the outside, less corporate. Possibly by changing, to use a specific example, possibly by changing the color, veering away from just black. That is, yes.
Just one question, please. You talk about tax strategy and rebranding. Do you think by changing colors or by marketing strategies alone can sort of get you that first-year customers that my colleague mentioned? Or do you need something more than that? And specifically, I'm looking for that particular factor that is sort of driving that attack or innovation strategy.
So right now, other than rebranding, redesign, new colors, the fact that we need the customers and the consumers, the smartphone consumers, to know Lenovo is probably through advertising, marketing our products, making it. For example, taking an example from Samsung's advertising, Apple. When Apple introduced iPhone 5, they said the screen is bigger. Samsung just came out and said our screen is bigger. So in a way that advertising is one of the key major factor that will play into our ideas of trying to change the perception of consumer that Lenovo is a second-tier product. It is actually not, because, as my colleague has mentioned, it won awards at CES, Consumer Electronics Show, one of the biggest electronic show in the world. And this proves that Lenovo has a working good high quality product. It's just that we need to change the perception of the consumer to actually make it work.